Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am super excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new episode for your Friday. Hope you are doing well. Hope you had a great week. This was a wild week for Growing Green Landscapes. It was crazy. We did Monday through Wednesday, and we got off for the 4th, so I hope all of you had a 4th, a great and happy Independence Day there. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today, but leading up to this holiday, we had a 3-day work week, and we wanted to get it all done. So we worked pretty much 10, 11-hour days, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday was a 14-hour day. We left at 6:30 Wednesday morning, got in. We finished the last yard in the dark about 8:30 on Wednesday, and it was a wild day. We did 28 lawns, I believe, that day. A good chunk of those were larger properties. We had it was our Thursday, normally our Thursday, our weekly routes. A couple commercials in there, a big farm, just a couple high-end residentials are in there that are every week, and so it was a full day for sure. We only did 28. You may be like, what the heck? That's not that many. We do 30 a day, no problem. But there were some big ones in there. So it was a good week for sure. We were able to get everything finished up, thankfully. Not to say we didn't put in the hours. We put in the hours. The guys did amazing. Showed up, crushed it, got it done. We got our big landscape install done that we worked on the past week and a half. It ended up, a few things drew it out longer than expected. We had to lay some more sod than what I expected, and so on. So that held us up a little bit, but we ended up getting it all wrapped up, and it looks absolutely amazing. Like, I don't know that it could look much better. We'll be posting some pictures and stuff of that here to come soon. But I hope that y'all had a great week as well. I hope you were productive. Like I said, we were. It was a great week. It was a hot week, but nonetheless, we got it all done. And so we got us a long weekend today. We are off today. If you're listening in real time on Friday, guys are off having a long 4-day weekend. Before we come back, ready to go and ready to rumble in the next coming weeks ahead. We're booked out pretty much until August at this point. We got a couple estimates in the hopper waiting to get approved. And once those are done, it's just we're just going to keep on cranking them out. We got a 17 pallet sod job going in this week and another 6 or 8 pallet job. It's actually a weird, it'll be the first time I'm ever doing anything like this. We're working for a contractor who installed fiber, and that fiber company left a mess. Their installers left a mess, so we're going through and patching and fixing that. And so that'll be interesting to see. We're going through a whole neighborhood and fixing that up. Pretty cool commercial-sized project, commercial landscaping project. So excited to see how it goes. It'll be interesting for sure. I don't know. I think what it is, a lot of little small areas, a bunch of them, though. And so I'm imagining what we're going to do is go in with the tiller and just till up our individual areas, spread some dirt, amend the soil, and lay down some new Bermuda and rock and roll down the road. So hopefully it goes that easily. I doubt it will because the ground I know that we're working with is terrible. But I hope we can, we're at least going to give it a shot, get the most done that we can, and have a good time while doing it. But like I said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate you sharing the show. The show's growing. Would love to know if you would like to see different kinds of content. Reach out and let me know. Looking at how we can change it up and diversify and just kind of help be unique. The whole podcast as a whole has become a saturated thing. Like podcasts, the new one's coming up every day here and there. And that's not me saying I don't want you to start a podcast. You should start a podcast if you feel led to, if you believe you should, and you think you have a good thing to communicate and you're going to be able to do it, then you go for it. I'm not going to shut you down at all because, truth be told, when I started 3 years ago, there were already a couple podcasts out there in the green industry, and there were hundreds of thousands of podcasts across the world. and we've carved out a good audience. We have a great thing going here that I enjoy doing, and so I'm very glad we did it. I'm very glad I just took this step and did it. So this is not me saying don't do it. This is just me saying, hey, a lot of people recording nowadays. How can we set ourselves apart? How can we be different? And so kind of working through some of that right now. Excited to see what the future holds, changing it up a little bit down the road. But for now, we're just going to keep on coming out and bringing you good entrepreneurship, business, and leadership content. That's what it's all about. So I tell you what, as we go through today, I don't want to be here long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. I don't know that there's going to be many guys out mowing today. This show will forever be in the archives, though, so you can always come back and listen to it. But I want to not let Independence Day go by and not be talked about. Me and Savannah were talking about this in the car the other day. I feel like it's that way with every U.S. holiday. Like, it just happens. Like, it's a big thing when you start the holiday, the country recognizes it, and then over time it just becomes less and less important. Easter used to... Everything shut down on Easter, literally everything. Now there's some stuff opening back up on Easter. Same thing, Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like, there's a couple holidays where everything shut down. That's not the case totally anymore. I feel like it honestly got worse, and now it's getting a little bit better. 2016 to 2020, maybe pre-COVID, when we had like early Black Friday stuff, they would start opening right after like 8, 9 p.m. on Thanksgiving night, and it just got weird there. But I feel like it's getting honestly back to being more restrictive, which I like. But we were talking about the holiday and what it represents, and it represents us declaring our independence from Great Britain and setting apart and starting our own nation and declaring freedom and what we can create here and watching our people grow. And what did the Founding Fathers know what was going to happen? Did they know that was what was going to happen now? Like, no. But look at what's happened. It's the greatest country that's on the planet right now. Even in our craziness that we're in right now with the presidency and just the back and forth, the liberalism and the just all the communities out there that are just like trying to shove everything down everybody's throats, women, kids, husbands, dads, everything. Even through all of that, we're still the greatest country to ever live. And so I am excited. Excited isn't even the right word. I'm honored to be able to sit here and talk today through this microphone to hundreds of people due to their sacrifices that they made in the beginning. Coming over here on the Mayflower, setting up camp, and creating the future as we know it now. And I want you to stop and think about that today as you're out working, as you're in the truck driving. It's not just something that we overlook. And we were driving and we said, it sounds silly, but like, why do people work on the 4th of July, on Independence Day? Why does the whole nation not shut down? Like, spend time with your friends and family. Obviously, you have to have your medical workers and your people like that. Hospitals can't shut down. But like, why are retail chains open? Why are restaurants open? If you want barbecue, get barbecue the day before and smoke you a butt at home or something. But like, this should be a day that the whole nation should remember and set aside. Not just a day to go to the lake and get drunk and go out on the boat and cook some barbecue, right? I hope you took some time to process. I definitely did. I try to do that more and more as I get older. And I just want this to not go by and be overlooked. It's pretty simple. I'm going to play a 10-minute clip here. Stick with it if you want to. If you don't, you don't have to. And I don't know why I said 10 minutes. It's a 4-minute clip. Actually, you know what? It is a 10-minute. I'm going to play this clip. It's 10 minutes long. I was looking at a different one. It's John F. Kennedy reading the Declaration of Independence. And I want to just take some time, listen to it, let the words sink in. I don't even want to be, I'm not adequate enough to read it. I want somebody who is a great man in history for our country to read it and take it, apply it, think about it in your life and your day-to-day and how you are now affected because of the decisions back then and the freedom you have now and how we can maintain this freedom in the future and our responsibility as U.S. citizens and responsible human beings to maintain this freedom. So let's listen to JFK read the Declaration of Independence. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in. It means the world that we get to do it. We will sign off as soon as this reading is done. I appreciate it. We look forward to catching up with you here on the next one. Let's listen to JFK.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish their right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative power, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amounts and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burned our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the work of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas, to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an indistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of a right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.